Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another one of my Ascension messages. My name is Bobbie Richardson, and I will be channeling today. So, welcome, everybody. First up, a little bit of housekeeping, the usual. I do readings Tuesdays live and with free chat bar readings, and I also do this Thursday channelings, which I'm doing today, which are all in AEST time. That's Brisbane or Queensland, Australia time zone, 7 a.m. in the morning. And I am an intuitive counselor, so if you want to book me, then just look at the links below and go onto my website, Codes to a New Reality. Also, I have a class coming up, and the next class is going to be on interdimensional traveling. So I actually have a fair whack of information on interdimensional traveling. It's just the way they taught me with when I started waking up. So I have a lot of information, channel messages and stuff about humanity's brain and mind, pineal gland, and so forth. So there's a lot of really juicy stuff coming up. Plus, I will get them to channel through some information, which I always do, and give some examples and stuff like that. So just to open you up to new gifts that are coming. And what else have we got? Just had a really cool interview with Robert, so go check that out. That's on my, if you go on to my my actual YouTube page, that's in the link down there. So yeah, heaps some more things coming up as well, which I'm pretty excited about. I have a small interview this Saturday too. So yeah, things are moving. Anyways, love you guys heaps. Today we are going to channel through, I'm probably going to do more Pleiadian channeling, tap into them today, because there's some, we are stepping into what they call the crazy world, the crazy land. So that's exciting. Hi Sky, good to see you. Now, there's a reason why this is all happening and why everything around us, and it does depend on each person and what each person is focusing on that makes a difference to them in their reality. So, but in saying that, things are going to go a little like chaotic for a while for everybody. Unless you have stepped right out of the loop and into, past the threshold of source energy and coming into alignment of love of everything that you are and everything that is outside of you. We are literally going through, and I have said this once or twice before recently, we're going through a mini death. We're going through a death while we are alive. They call anything like orgasms and stuff like that, that is called a mini death or a little death. And the reason why is because you come into complete center of yourself where there's no monkey mind whatsoever. That is similar to the feeling that I got when I was in this future potential world for humanity. And I say it's a potential because everyone has choice, right? So when I was there, it felt so peaceful that it was just euphoric. But before that, we have to go through this transition. And the transition is bringing everything up in our minds, everything, like anything in the recesses of our brain that we have fears of, that we're scared of, and all of that, that's coming up. And when it comes up and it can't be dealt with within oneself, by by tuning into self and recognizing that as an issue and then accepting it as part of the journey instead of projecting it outside of ourselves. What will happen if we aren't ready to do that is that it manifests outside of ourselves. And this is where sometimes crazy can look from that point of view. The other side of the coin is where we are slipping into this vortex of opening up new neuron paths, new nuances, new understandings of ourselves, because we are starting to clear our mind enough, and that means that we are letting go of the so-called story that's just going over and over and getting boring for us because it's held in a logical mind. And as that starts to disperse, we start to bring in those imaginations that we feel we can ground into this reality and would benefit us. But in that, because we're doing that and we're bringing in these new things, we can, when we start to ground them, we can start to see them coming into our reality. And if it's something to do with, portals opening up or whatever, we could wake up in a world that we start to see these portals being, even on the news or whatever, they could actually be showing up in your reality. And then you're like, oh my God, the world is going crazy. Things are opening up. So these shifts need to happen because we are moving from one reality-based concept, limited, fear-based concept, into expansion of such a new way of looking at life, a new way of interacting with Gaia, with Earth herself. So always these things were pretty much present, but when you're not in the same frequency of them because you don't believe them to be present, they aren't present. They're bringing up this atom that spins, and when it spins, or when it spins really, 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 really fast, it will pop out of our existence. And this is actually, science here. So scientists would see an atom and then all of a sudden it disappears, but they know it's still there, and then it reappears again. But what's happened is that atom spun so fast, it's like watching the helicopter, what is it called, propeller, going so fast that it looks like it's disappeared. And you can get it to the point where something has disappeared so much that it's not even in your existence whatsoever. In other words, you could walk through it and it wouldn't even make any difference to you. So when we start to raise what they call raise our vibration, which is really moving into love vibration, which is a faster vibration. It's not so heavy. It's not so like in the material world is very, very slow vibration. When we start to raise it, then things start to change. Things that are outside of us we start to become more aware of things that are in those higher frequencies, and we're always present in those higher frequencies. So reminding me of when I was taking a walk through a massive forest. This is a 1,000-year-old forest that was in Mullaney, which is a mountain up near close to where I live. And as I was walking through the forest, a fellow in front of me said that there's a portal here. And because I have had many experiences of very strange experiences, I just go, oh, there's a portal here. And I didn't query it. I didn't doubt it. I just went, oh, okay. And so as I kept walking through this forest, I looked down, and my next step was very, very slow motion. And when I looked up, there was a being that was in the forest, which was about 2.5 foot tall. And I think he noticed me. He ran, but it was very shadowy, kind of like watching a dark, like a silhouette almost of, or a very hazy silhouette of a being. But I could definitely make out he had a face and arms and all of that sort of stuff, legs. And he ran across in front of me. And then he stopped at the other side, and he went, oh my gosh, I could feel that he knew that I sensed him, that I could see him. So he ran behind a tree, and he was looking behind a tree, and then he saw that I still saw him, and he zigzagged all the way through these trees, getting further and further and further away, and very quick, very fast. So for me to have seen that, I would have had to erase my vibrational awareness, and being in this beautiful forest, I'm in my element. I love forests. So I'm already in that love frequency. And then he will still be in his world no matter what. But my reality ended up slowing down, and then I could see him. So this is what's going to happen to a lot of us as we move into clearing our mind and the program and the limitations that we have around what this reality is. We will be opening up so-called vortexes or portals or whatever. It's actually our own inner portal that's opening up, because we're coming from a balanced mind and we love all sides of ourselves, and we don't have any expectations. So we're not racing, we're not looking for anything, but we also are open to anything to happen. It's kind of like an alignment that you have, just like when you're trying to manifest anything in this world, they always say to align with it and see yourself in it. So when you're already expecting it's kind of like an expectance that is let go of. How else could I put that? See, because the expectance with me was, I already knew that I could see into different dimensions, because I've already been had many experiences. So that was already open. That is my expectance. I already know that I would have that, but I don't search for it, don't grasp for it, don't go looking for it in the forest. It just happens to me because I'm open to it. Because as soon as you start looking for something, you're not in alignment with it. You're saying that you how do you put that? You're grasping for something, and that energy is saying that you're already less than what that something is by the grasping nature. And so to be in this, they're also telling me this is going to happen naturally anyway. So maybe to let it go, because this is going to in other words, me let it go as I'm speaking to you, because this is going to happen to us naturally as we peel away the mind programs that's been given to us to keep us in a limited consciousness and not have experiences of wisdom with other dimensional beings. But as we also raise our reality, we're going to also come into contact with those that are even off planet. And all of this happens specifically for individual souls that have been on individual journeys in their previous lives, that have already decided or already know that they are part of that family, in that interdimensional family, that off-planet family, whatever it is. They're already familiar with it. And so the first things that happen when we are going into off-planet beings or interdimensional beings is telepathic communication with them, because we are reminding ourselves of the same energy alignment that we knew before we were born, and we knew those beings in in that world of, that you had before in that past life. So everybody is going to have these different experiences because everybody's life has been different. If you were a human and you've been a human life after life after life after life after life, caught in this program for ages, that will start probably cracking open with past lives of you being here on Earth in, 1700 or whatever. You start having dreams or remembrances of seeing people that are around you in this reality. And then when in your dream, you'll be dreaming of them in that life. And so it'll start to crack open that way. So there's all these different ways that life will, once we start peeling away this logical, limited thinking, there's all these different ways that people are going to open up with. And so there's no wrong or right way. It just is. It just is who you are, your soul, your journey, how you're going to meet what they call the crazy world. I like it. I mean, some people might get hung up on that word or whatever because they might have been called that when they were kids or something. And I certainly was, but I've learned to accept it. And I think that's part of the journey of accepting that a word could come from one vibration, meaning that someone's really trying to put you down. And then somebody else says exactly the same word, but they're actually not coming from putting you down at all. And it's just a word, right? So we have to be in alignment with everything. It's really interesting where they're going with this. They're really wanting to bring up self-acceptance of all before we can enter these places. So even though those things will happen to you, your logical brain might have a brain fart, in other words, feel it's crazy, but there is a part of you that knows it was meant to happen. An acceptance of that is meant to happen. Sky, it's hard to imagine we will make the shift one day and what it looks like. Just in that statement right there will always keep you in this place of limitation. There is a definite vortex that it's almost something that we don't even have to worry about. The only thing that we need to seek is catching ourselves with our limited logical mind programming us that things have to go a certain way, that we can only go down one path and one path only. It's the path that everyone else is going down, or that the program on the TV told you to go down. Or when we start to go no to all of that, and we say, I just want to live from my own heart and accept who I am, and then we start bringing through stories that align us with that, even if they are logically based, doesn't matter. It will slowly bring you into a better space, and that's when things start changing, and you start having experiences, and then the experiences will go that are what I would call crazy ones, and then they will go, and then you'll be in the normal land again, and then there'll be another weirdo thing that just abruptly happened, and then it will go, and you start to sway into oh my God, this is for real. Other people are having these experiences, and so your logical brain's getting used to it, and then it's kind of like it will just happen in that respect. Or you could go into a real tense moment in your life where everything feels like it's going to come crashing down. And then you just have this massive release of, I just accept. And then everything shifts because your mind is still, and you walk through your life with a still mind. So that has happened to some people as well. But majority, I feel, will happen in this kind of movement of yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. It certainly happened with me that way. Like, even though I had right from the beginning interactions with the unusual world, whenever it happened, I would, if it was too much for me, I would take the reins and I would pull them back and say, okay, that's too much. And then I would have a breather for a couple of months where nothing would happen. And then I'd be like, hang on, my curiosity, I want to find out more. And then I open that up again, all of a sudden it all starts coming in. But you're in control. Always remember that you're in control as these things start to take place and start to shift. We can already see it in the outside world at the moment, the chaos that is happening. It's like everybody's mind thoughts have been brought into reality, and we're facing off with everyone's crap. And if you want to go into it, you'll get sucked into it. Or you could come back and say, you know what, I want to shift a story to a different reality. I want to take the reins to my own life. I'm passionate and excited about something really bizarre. And so I'm going to go into that. I want to learn all about the Lyrans, or I want to learn all about, I don't know, quantum physics or something, or I want to learn all about telepathy. It's a passion that you'll already be driven with to take you into that. That is you connecting to your soul and your soul's mission in your heart. You'll feel excited about that, and just keep on chipping away at where that can take you. And if it starts to get a little too crazy, which it did with me in moments in my life, then say, I am in control, pull back the reins, I need a rest, and go back into the logical story. But that does get boring very quickly when you've already had an experience that's pretty bizarre. So you might only stay there for a few days and then go, okay, I'm ready for something bizarre to happen again. But either way, whether you're in control of this, always remember that. And if you do find that something negative comes your way, it is showing you the fear. It's literally showing you where you're fearing your own power. Anything that is frightening for you, I mean, you can get it. Like if I woke up and saw a being in my room, of course I would get an initial fright. That would be my initial reaction. But straight away I went, oh, it's okay. I know this is, I'm seeing into another dimension. It's okay. And I can feel off the being, whether it's good or not anyway. But if it was something that wasn't, and it was creepy and it gave you that creepy feeling, then it's literally showing you where you are lacking in your power. And that's when I had an experience of the worst experience when I was, I would have been 30, 31 or something. And I was at a friend's place, and she was, we were delving in not the good things, Ouija boards. And I was actually sleeping in the room where the Ouija boards were used, because that was the only spare bed. And I saw this being ooze out of an ornament, and then he started to shuffle his way towards me. And this was real to me. I could smell the being, feel the being, see it, everything. Sat up in bed, and I just went, stop. And as it started to come towards me, I knew it was not good. And as it ended up coming onto my bed, it actually, when you blink and then they're closer, that sort of thing is happening. It was like a horror movie, honestly. So I blink, and then it's really close, and it was sitting on my bed, and then it had its arm wrapped around me. And see, I don't have any hoo-ha around it, because I know how powerful I am now. So I can say these stories without any hoo-ha. It sat on my bed, and it wrapped his arm around my neck and trying to give me a hold, and trying to put 2 pills in my mouth. And I just pierced my mouth real close. And then I just went, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this, but I know I'm going to get out of this. And it was that I know I'm going to get out of this that gave me that power. That was my power. That was me taking back my power. And it was like all my chakras went into one ball of light between my heart chakra and my sacral chakra, and a burst of light just shot out of me. And this thing just disappeared. It wasn't in my reality anymore. I had lifted my vibration out of its reality, and it could not harm me. And then I ran outside in the dark and put my hands in the dirt on Gaia. I just sat there for a minute. And then I went back in the bedroom and fell asleep, honestly. But from then on, I knew my power. So this thing was actually showing me or teaching me where I was lacking through my own fear of my power. Now, whenever they came up, even anything like that, sort of like interdimensional draconian energy, whenever it came up in my reality after that, I knew that I could get rid of it. I'm like, okay, I have no qualms anymore. And so you have no fear. I could literally put my hand out and say, join me. It didn't worry me. And they didn't like that. So I didn't have any more issues. Well, not very many more issues after that. And if anything did come up, I had to look at myself. Okay, where am I lacking in my power again? So, okay, all that negative hoo-ha aside, that is important to know, because we are only love. And even that being is only love. And if I meet it at a love vibration, it has to face off with its own love of self that it's denied in itself. So when we start to come from that point of love, we are source energy. We are creation itself, creating. And so we can then move through our life without fear. Because if we say we deserve to be here, and we say we deserve to be able to create or carve a path that is of beauty and wonder and utopia on Gaia, so be it. So be it. We have that power within us. It is only our own denial of our own and our own lack of our own power that stops that from happening. So yay. Hey, darling. Anyways, what else are we going to go into here? I kind of went into a couple of stories of my own there, but that's okay. That's good. So yeah, massive shifts that are happening, but the world outside of you is only reflecting what you've already shifted within yourself. If it is something like what would we call them? Gateways, interdimensional gateways into something else or whatever. Funny that my next class is onto that, is going to be talking about interdimensional gateways and traveling. But they're really bringing that up because I think that there's a lot of us that are ready to at least embrace that so-called crazy stuff. Because it's not actually crazy. It's always existed, but our vibration is lifting us enough to be able to experience it. Our balance within our mind and stepping through those things without fear. We cannot have fear as we step into that. And through that, we start to experience a vibrational meet with those that have always been residing in the higher dimensional places. There's been literal cities, towns of people that have raised their vibration in the past and disappeared off this planet. So they say, but they didn't disappear. They were just in another frequency, and they do exist in those frequencies. Yeah. That's why they're calling it mini death, because the part of us that is dying is that programmed part that we thought we were victim to this life, that this life is nothing more than what somebody else tells us it is. And so that is going to die off. But then what opens up is something that will literally blow your logical mind unless you are in balance with yourself and realizing that no matter where you step, no matter what you walk, however you walk on this planet, is every step is through the love of self. Because when you love yourself, your reality is love as well. It doesn't come from the other way around where we're stretching ourselves to try to find someone that will love us. That can never happen. It can only be that you are love self, and then everyone around you is a reflection of the love of self. So you only see the people who are around you will only want the best for you. They will want you to succeed, just as you want them to succeed. And then you raise each other up into success of love, of a life that everyone loves. And that's actually more important, they're saying, than opening. But the opening of these vortexes of whatever, because we are in that vibration of love and help and seeing each other as a reflection of how much we love ourselves, those vortexes will literally open, and we will have meetups with people that are already in that vibration. But it's kind of like they're showing me, if you are walking down a street and you're really, really in your head limited, didn't believe that everybody was not nice. I've got to watch my words here. Was not nice. And there would be, like, say 10 people coming, you're walking up through 10 people. You will only see them or hear them when they say something that will trigger you. And that's all you will see and hear. And yet another person could walk through the same time that is in the vibration of love, and all they can see and hear is those people being nice to each other. It's interesting. And we're talking about just a normal conversation here. We're not talking about somebody who is actually going off or anything. But it can actually happen that you'll be sitting at the same table. One person sees everyone as happy and with their life, and another person will see everyone as a victim to their life. Because they're coming from their own perception, and we are always projecting outwards how we all feel within ourselves. So we need to bring it all back. If we're seeing it's, say for instance, you're in a family dynamic and a teenager is, you don't like, I don't know, your stepdaughter or stepson or something. Everything that you see about that stepson will be annoying to you. And yet they could be doing the best they ever could, and they are the best. And yet you will only see them as annoying. Or you can switch your mind up and say, actually, that teenager is trying their best and they're doing what they can do. And all of a sudden you see them doing only the best for everyone, and for themselves. So yeah, it just does depend on your perception of your reality and how you're projecting it out to the world. And then when you start to fit into or slide into a higher frequency where it's love vibration, the ones that are in fights and arguments and everything and that, because you're not focusing in on them anymore, they will start to fall away from your life. And if they do, let them. And then that's why they're saying these literal vortexes are opening up where new people will come into your life. They could be a neighbor that was like 10 houses down, but all of a sudden you're meeting them. Okay, now they're bringing me to the fact that our reality only consists of what we can see, hear, experience from this perspective out. We turn on a TV and someone tells us that there's billions of people in this world, but we don't actually have them in our reality. we only have hundreds, thousands, maybe 1,000 people in our actually, probably not even that, maybe hundreds of people in our actual reality. And if you're a hermit, it's even less, right? Where you walk down the street and you go to the shops and you'll see 50 people. That's all that's in your reality. And every moment there is only really a certain amount. If you go to a football game, you could only see as far as, and then all of a sudden people start to get blurry as they go further out, so you don't really see them in your reality. You'll see those people that are sitting next to you, those people sitting there. If someone brings a camera in on someone on the other side of the game, then you end up seeing them on the big screen. But then maybe they're a little bit closer to your reality. But in your actual reality, there's only a certain amount of people, which is, it's quite interesting looking from that perspective, because here we are trying to save the world, trying to save everybody from all the problems. And really, it's just you walking through your life with only a certain amount of people that are in your reality. And they're the ones that truly matter. You can't shift anyone, billions of people on the planet, that they're telling me that was a concept that was made by the leaders, because they wanted to look like they had a lot of power. And so they did, because they pulled the wool over our eyes that we weren't existing in a reality that was the truth, which is your perception of your reality in the given moment. And they had, from your perspective, that are millions of people that they were in charge of. And so it's interesting. It's kind of like going down a rabbit hole that's quite mind-bending. So anyway, take from that what you can. I can understand where they're coming from, but to actually bring that up in conversation, because my logical brain's having a bit of a fart at the same time, trying to get my head around it. But it does all come down to how you see and view your world, and stop trying to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. Just change your world, your perspective of your world, shift that, and also and that will open up a lot more. That's why these so-called interesting, I'm going to pull it, crazy interesting events are going to come into your reality to shift your logical mind even more, that can be grounded, because it's already truth and it's already grounded in a higher vibration, and you're meeting that vibration by peeling away the limits that was pulled over your eyes through the logical brain. So we're pulling away those limits. And what happens when you pull away a limit? You expand your reality into something new. And so then all of a sudden you might see a Facebook message or an article in a magazine or something like that, or somebody comes up to you and says something about something that is a bit bizarre. Watch out for those signs, because it's actually aligning you to your soul's understanding from a previous life that was probably something that you need to ground in your reality now, to open the door to that becoming part of who you are, because it already was who you were before you were born, before you got sucked into this reality, and the limited mind ended up stopping it because you didn't feel it was going to fit in to everybody else's expectations. Yeah. Wow. Hello, my beautiful family. Ever since I've been working on raising my frequency, I can tell a big difference. It is a big difference, isn't it? Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting where we can go with this. I know I'm lucky that I've been really, really lucky that I've been shown or gifted where humanity can take this. And it really is just through letting go of this logical mind being in charge. It's never been in for it to be in charge it gets boring. It goes around in circles. It keeps repeating the same story. It doesn't expand without allowing our right hemisphere, our connection to source energy, soul, our imagination to play the part of shifting the story. It will only get stuck. We'll only get stuck. And you can see it in the past, how that happened, how we just keep like a revolving door in one life. Even if you left your partner, you bring another partner, had very similar sort of story, comes up again. I mean, it's a little bit different, but it's another story. Only because you held on to it, that's what reality is about. If you were born into a family that where the parents showed a lot of love and you had a lot of love, then you would probably walk into a reality where that was an accepted reality, right? But not many of us did, because we were caught in that logical mind, replaying the same problems over and over again. It couldn't find a way out. There's no way it could, because it needed the acceptance of the imagination to shift the story. And we've been taught when we were kids to stop imagining, that our imagination is worthless, that is just pie in the sky. But it is the valuable key to shifting our story. But what happens when we shift our story away from that, right? We shift it out of someone being in charge. We shift it into taking our own reins to our reality back. It's very cool. Sky, the more we work on ourselves, the more room we allow for the souls to come in. Yeah, because they're already there's already people in higher frequency. So we think that we're like, I could say that I'm a pioneer and I'm a guide because I feel like I am, but really there's already people residing in those higher frequencies. I'm actually bringing out a video tomorrow about that. I had this really profound channel message that came through yesterday. So take a look at that. I'm going to upload it tomorrow morning. So I won't go into that yet until that's been published. But it is exciting where we're going. Let's see if there's anything else that's going to come through. If anyone has any questions, there's only a couple of people on my "Hey Darlene" on my chat bar, because usually a lot more come when I've got the free tarot readings. That's okay. Let's see. It actually is better this way anyway, because then it gets me focusing more on connection to the messages coming through. What else? What other messages could help us? We're definitely going through a transformation. They put a butterfly in front of my face. Massive transformation that's happening now. We are literally opening our wings and starting to fly. And that's why, just like a caterpillar will only ever see a leaf and have that feeling of wanting to eat all the time, where a butterfly won't feel like eating. Interesting that they're bringing that up. And it has a completely new perspective of life, where the leaf is falling away from it. It can still land on the leaf and still eat. It won't be eating from the leaf, but it can still land on the leaf, and then it can also fly beyond the leaf. And that's what we're doing. We are flying beyond the limitations of the logical mind being in charge. And that's why the so-called crazy stuff's going to happen in your life but you don't have to seek for it. You don't have to try. You don't have to force it or hope that it's going to happen. All you have to do is keep peeling away at the layers that were keeping you in limitation and in fear. All you have to do is that will naturally happen. The gifts will naturally happen. And that definitely happened with me when I got to a certain threshold of healing. All of a sudden, I felt so clear in my mind. And then after that, it was like I had premonitions. I knew what was going to happen. I knew who to trust, who to help, who not to help. I had all this. It was just clarity. It was just clarity. And when you walk through your life with that clarity, you know you're safe. You have a stable platform for your life. You don't have any fear around your life anymore because you're stable in the fact that your mind and your soul and your hearts and your body is all working together and creating. And yeah, I definitely had premonition dreams. I definitely had these premonition thoughts. It wasn't even in my dreams. I literally knew what was going to happen next. And that means I could take bigger leaps because I wanted to come to Australia. This is in a moment where my guides helped me get to a certain point that was beyond the threshold of the logical mind, being in charge. And it was like they were showing me that place. It took 2 years for me to get there. This is after I found a gold bracelet that they helped me, led me to dig up a gold bracelet at a beach. And then they started to train me. And then they took off the training wheels and I fell back into the mind games again. So I had to get myself out. But through this 2 to 3 years that this happened, there was a threshold where all I was doing was doing the passion. I love doing what I really love in my life. And then all of a sudden it was like, wow, I'm clear. How do I explain that? I just felt so clear in myself that I knew things were going to happen. I wanted to come to Australia. I was already saving. I bought the tickets for me and my daughter and so forth. And then my daughter was actually living with her dad, but I bought her tickets for a holiday. And then I didn't have any money extra, but I still kept going because I knew that something was coming that was going to save my bacon, that I would end up having the right amount of money to get to Australia. And so you take these big leaps of buying the tickets before you even have the full amount of money that you need. You take bigger leaps because you have better understanding. Like I was leaving my daughter at that time in New Zealand because she had a court order that she had to stay there with her dad. And like I was looking after her more so than her dad, but the court order said she had to stay there. So I had a premonition dream that she was going to live with me so I could make the transition with clarity of knowing that she was. And it would have been about 6 months later, I moved to a different location in Australia, and I saw the high school that was in my dream that she was going to go to. And before a year was up, where she came over and saw me every holiday, she came and lived with me. So this is why they're bringing this up. The clarity that we walk through life with is so profound that we know we are going to be in the right place at the right time, and we take bigger risks because we are no longer in our monkey mind saying, but what if, and doubt and all that goes out the window. We take bigger risks through the knowing that we are in alignment with the love of ourselves. And so is our reality in alignment with the love of ourselves as well. Hey, Debbie, good to see you here. Okay, guys, some of that was channeling. And a lot of it was stories today. So it's okay. We'll just go with the flow. And yeah, I felt like it was more stories. There was moments there where they came in and took over me. But a lot of it was stories of me remembering. So that's how it happens with me. And I just go with the flow. But any case, until next time, I will be here next Tuesday for, a fun tarot read just for fun, and energy alignment reading. And I have a video that's coming up tomorrow. Look out for that one. That was of a channel message. if you go on my website too, I have a couple of new channel messages that's come up on my website as well, which are really cool. And we're talking about ETs and our connection to ETs, which is what this next video is going to be about tomorrow morning. Love you guys heaps. Until next time. Bye.